and welcome back to today's episode of Helen the Horsebox. We are going to be looking at insulating the inside of the truck. The insulation that we are using is a 50mm of Celotex in the ceiling and in the walls, and what you saw in a previous video is we was using 25mm of Celotex under the floor. We're also using an aluminium tape to seal all the joins on the timber framework as well, and that helps to create a vapor barrier on the inside. So you're probably noticing at this point that I am moving lights and electrical stuff out of the way. So let's jump in our little time machine, go back in time and take a look at the lighting process that I went through. Okay, so test one, we've got the light, we've got it hooked up, we've got a little 9V and we just touch it there and you can see we have connection. Next thing is to check for wiring a single switch to control the single light, which I'm pretty sure I know how to do. Okay, so now we've got the battery, we've got our switch, we've got obviously everything connected, and we've got our light. And as you can see, the switch, we switch it and the light comes on. So that's basic. That's just the negative on the switch. We're actually using it as a positive. So that is actually connected there to the positive of the light. And the negative from the light just goes straight into this box here, connected to the battery. So then we have a positive from the battery to the switch to the light via the little mini junction boxes. So the only thing that comes to and from the switch is a positive. That's it, only controls the flow of positive from the battery to the light. Okay, moment of truth. This could be an absolute flop and a disappointment, or the lights could turn on. So, well, I've got hooked up with a 9V battery, square battery. I did this in the house with short amounts of cable and it worked and everything came on. So I'm going to switch this switch and see if I don't electrocute myself and if the lights come on. Right, they've not come on. So it could be the battery, or it could be that I've not wired things right. So I need to reevaluate things. No, they're on, we're on. I didn't switch it the right way. Is everything on? Oh, that's, when I touch it, that's dodgy.
Very twitchy. On. 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 On.
Right,
Yes!
so we've got lights.
We have lights.
We have lights. So that, when you... Oh, it's fine now. Oh no. It's just moving it about. It just makes me wonder if there's a...
Might be my connecting.
If there's a connection to it. You connected that one, didn't you?
I'm the only one that connected that one.
Right,
so
let me just have a
rewire that one.
Let me just have a look at it.
Reconnect it. Go on. Right, I'll stop it. Right. Well done, mate.
Okay, so just finished installing lights for here, what is going to be the hallway, walking up this way. Kitchen will be to that side. So we've got 2 hallway lights here. We've got switches for the hallway and for the living room over here, which are going to go sort of somewhere in here. The living room lights, you can see, are wired up there, and then there's 4 of them. Where's that one dangling? Oh, it's right down here, look, there. Didn't get it on the camera. And there's also switches here for both the living room and the hallway. And the idea is that we can switch here on and off, and over at the other end on and off as well. So from both doorways essentially. So I'll just see which this one I believe is the hallway. But you can see I've just switched on and it's come on over there, and I can switch it off. I'll switch it on again, and then Carl will switch them off from there, and switch them on, and then switch them on, and then I can switch them off. Okay. The living room ones, which we'll try and back up a little bit so you can see. I can switch on over this end. Can't switch them off. Switch back on again, mate. And I can switch them off. So there is going to be another switch over here as well. It's not in yet. Well, that's going to come up and control 2 spots in the bedroom as well, in the bedroom area. There will also be another switch over here to be able to control those from the bedroom as well. So you can control all 3, the bedroom, the living room and the hallway from here. You can control the living room and the hallway from over there, and then also the bedroom again from up there. That's the plan. Separately, on a separate thing for what is the toilet and shower room, there'll be a light and fan separately wired in for that as well, and the switch is probably going to be like on the outside wall, possibly here, yet to be confirmed. But yeah, going well so far. Oh yeah, and these lights, right, where they come back to, so we've got the conduit, I don't know if you can see very well, it runs down here, and at the minute it's hooked up to a 9-volt square battery, and that is currently running the lights for now. So yeah, there you go. I'm sure it'll be a lot brighter and a lot more effective when they're actually in the ceiling and they're downlighting properly. So yeah, more progress. Right, just been doing a lot of insulating. As you can see, cab ceilings coming on today. I just want to mention that I wired up the bedroom lights as well before I carried on with the installation back there. So there'll be a switch there, because there's going to be a divider sort of somewhere up here that'll come all the way across, but then it might curve down a little bit for where you come up the steps, so it'll give a bit of a privacy. And then depending on how thick this is going to be, there might even be a little unit on the side where the bed is, and then the switch for those lights is going to be mounted on there. Now that can be switched from up in the bed area, and it can also be switched from down here where you come in as well. So we've got kitchen, living room and bedroom switches all there. All that cable runs up along and behind and through. Obviously we've got 4 lights for the living room, which are sort of dangling and whatnot here. 2 lights for like the hallway kitchen, which I've just tucked away, so they're not dangling too much at the minute. There will be one in the shower room as well, and then there'll also be a little fan, an extractor fan up there, which you can see the cable's already dropped in for it there. And then sockets, we've got 2.5 twin and earth already wired in. That's going to come round and feed kitchen sockets. Obviously that goes back to this corner. Everything will come back to this corner. This is where all the electrics are going to be, underneath the corner sofa. Obviously it's an absolute mess in here at the minute because I've been cutting bits of insulation and there's just bits and bobs left around, but this will get a tidy probably in the next few days. Same at this end, just loads of scraps and bits and bobs. But I reckon sort all that out before bin day. But there's this whole back area done. There's this done as well. Going to come along the kitchen bit next, and then I want to start getting cracking on more with the ceiling. The ceiling cables out of the way. You can see I've got support bits in for the ceiling, which I need to carry on further back as well, and then get the insulation up there. It might end up being a bit of a spray glue job just to hold it up. Well, I'll get the boards done. We'll see. So, what we're going to do, Emily, is we're going to measure. You're going to write down. You don't need that. It's all right.
I need to like
Lean on a bit of wood on the wall. So, we're going to measure these gaps. You're going to write them down, okay? And then we're going to cut the insulation for the gaps, okay? And then we're going to stick it all in, okay? Right, so our first gap, first one I want you to measure is going to be, I want you to write down 577 and 425. Okay?
Yeah.
So did you write it with the times like I showed you before? So the way you do it is, don't write number 1 next to it, that's confusing, okay? 577 by 425. That's the first one, okay? If you want to use your rubber on it, if you, well, it's just made a mess. And then carry on to the next one. So our first one is 577 by 425. That's going to be a square that we cut, or a rectangle.
Yeah.
Okay, then your next one is 430
Yeah.
times
Yeah.
292. Okay? Try and write a little bit smaller because we might have a lot of numbers to write, okay?
Okay.
Next one is going to be 242. Wrong. 246.
Yeah.
Times 440.
Is that small enough?
That's better, yes, thank you. Next one.
Yeah.
678 times 438.
438.
438. Okay, now we're going to go and cut all them pieces, all right? Okay, so as you've just seen, we've been busy cutting and then fitting these panels of insulation for along here. There's a few more to do, and I didn't cut this one because I figured with it being so small, we're going to use some of our offcuts to wedge in there and make that piece up. We're trying to make use of everything that we can. You'll see that we've got some gaps like this, so we're going to use some of the 25mm board that we've got as well to plug some of these little spaces, and hopefully that'll go all right. So obviously these are showing because these are our fixing points for the ceiling along the way, and then these as well, and then the same, we've got fixing points here, here, and then along here as well, 3. And then at the ends, now there aren't any fixing points on across the top at the end, but what's going to happen when we put the wall boards on is we're going to put the ceiling boards on first. The wall boards will go up tight to the ceiling boards and then fix on, so they will support the ceiling boards all the way along. Obviously that goes for both edges, so along there the ceiling board will go up and then the wall board will tuck up nice and tight to prop the ceiling board up as well. This was the idea that I came up with for the fixing points for the ceiling, was that there were just blocks fixed through the aluminium top hat that was already there, and then we could fix onto there. And the reason I didn't use a full length all the way across is it was going to cost an absolute fortune in this PSE, and I really don't have the means, and I guess the time and the patience really, to mill all of that down myself. So we just used blocks, which I figured would be sufficient, and then we've gone on from there really. There is a little bit more framework to do across the top towards the front, but we're going to make progress on that framework as and when we do come to doing the insulation further down. I'd like to take a moment to talk to you about how you can save money on your household bills. Now, whilst living in a truck off-grid isn't for everyone, and that's the way that I've chosen to save money in my life, I can save you money on your household bills in your bricks and mortar home because most people are paying through the roof for services that they use on a regular basis, such as their energy, their broadband, and their mobile phone SIMs. Now, if you get in touch with me, I've got so many customers at the moment that are saving hundreds of pounds. All the links for which are down in the description with the video. Get in touch and I can save you money too. So, busy this morning, doing more insulating. Only got a flipping kitchen in the garage. Woo! Yeah, noise. Who's in me truck? Who's that in me truck making noise?
Hey!
Hey, here he is. How you doing, Doug?
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
I'm alright. Let me climb up here. What you doing?
Just removing this strut so I can get some more insulation put in.
Nice.
And get the braces put on. And we can get it finished.
Nice one.
Start getting the boards on. Get the kitchen in.
Yes, mate. Yeah, so we want the bigger one first. We just got to remember there's 3mm on one side and not the other.
Yeah.
You get me? So, whichever way we think is the longer, that seems pretty. What was it?
Pretty good. Yeah.
That way.
That way. Like a glove, mate.
Nike glove. So just come. We're just going to go to there, and I'm just going to get some tape.
Yeah. You got the knife there?
Knife? That's not a knife. This is horrible stuff. Our other tape, so much better, so much quicker.
Yeah.
So we'll go with the join on the timber. That should be enough just to hold it in place. Where have we peeled to? There. And then I'm just going to run the knife.
Right, pass me here.
Yeah, right across your face. Okay, that should be enough just to hold it for now.
Yeah.
Because once all them other, you know, the thinner bits, once the thinner bits are in,
yeah,
they'll get taped and it'll all hold it together. Now, what some of you eagle-eyed people may have noticed is that there is a fan in the ceiling. So we're going to jump in our time machine again. We're going to go back to when we sorted out the ceiling fan. So today we're looking at installing the roof fan. So what I've done so far is made a mess outside, and inside I have, let's go have a look. Inside I've installed a frame for where the fan's going to go, which is inside that square. So I now need to drill a centre hole and then cut a 23cm diameter hole in my roof. So this is the kit here. I've got this plastic part here which will go that way on the roof. It will get this rubber O-ring inside it. Trying to hold a camera and do this isn't easy. There we go. What I'll do is I'll probably just put a couple of little dots of Sikaflex under that, so when I flip it over, it don't come out of place. I'm going to run a big bead of it. Big bead of Sikaflex all the way around there as well, and then clamp it in position. One thing I've got to make sure I do is that the rear of the fan, which is this back end here, the flatter end rather than the rounded end, this hole here goes to the back end because that's where the wiring will feed through. So I need to make sure that when I do glue it on, that goes to the back. Oh, okay. Just been up on the roof and cut a big flipping hole in it. It's weird that, it's like focusing on the sky. So yeah, there it is. Hole for the roof vent. I'm going to just file that down. It's hard to get it to focus right here. Here we go. I'm going to file that down. All the edges of the circle, and then test fit it on the top, and before I seal it all in. Yeah, another job done. Okay, so that's on and clamped and Sikaflexed all round and drying. So we're going to leave that for a little while. We're not forecast any rain. And then later on I'll come back, take the clamps off and screw the top on. And this is it from inside. What we can see, I've got 6 clamps on, holding it down. I ran a full bead of Sikaflex all right round there where the rubber seal was, the O-ring that I put on. And then I also, once it was on, as you saw on the top, all right around the edge of the plastic as well. So shouldn't give us any issues. I guess the first big test of that will be when there's some rain. But yeah, zoom out a little. There we go, really happy with that. Little frame around it. I might see if I can get some sort of ducting just to come down, because obviously with the height there being a bit of a thing, see if I can just create a cylindrical, maybe even out of some cut of aluminium I've got, create a cylindrical tube just to come down as far as the ceiling, and then fix the face plate on. So this morning I've been busy cutting some boards ready for the ceiling. See, I've got loads of offcuts there that I'm going to be using up in the cab area. So I'm going to set up a little time lapse and just start filling in these bits here that I've done the cuts for. We'll get cracking straight on.
Right, what you see here is the ceiling panel. What we're going to do here, we've marked it all off. This is where the lights and the fan are going to go. The light's going to go that one, fan there, and another light there. Pete's going to drill a hole where they all go.
So we've got a light going in here, we've got a light over this end, the fan's in the middle, and the way that we did all this, we did a really, really highly technical drawing, which you can see right here. We basically said that that was the sheet, and we marked where everything was going to go. It might not look the best, but I understand it, which is fine. And we've got a little notch to cut out some cables as well. This notch actually sits on top of the wall for the bathroom, so it'll be totally hidden. You won't even see it, and it'll be between two wall boards. It's in the wall, if you like. Those cables serve the switches at the rear of the truck for the lighting. So from our diagram, we've now marked everything out. I've cut the board to length already. So we've got our light here, which you can see. The back of it that is going to be inset inside the board is approximately 50mm. So in the drill, we've got our 50mm Forstner bit set up ready to go. And just to avoid, when we drill through this, any blowout, we've put a board underneath as well, so it's a nice smooth finish on the other side. We don't want it all to splinter and everything on the other side when we go through. This is the top face of the board as well. So we've had to allow for the fact that when we were looking at our drawing, it was going to be the other way up. So Carl was stood and he was going, right, okay, right. I had a bit of a moment initially as well, where I was remembering that I was looking at it upside down. But going to get cracking straight on now with drilling some of these bits out. That looks as though it's smack in the middle of that, so I'm just going to go nice and steady. What you sometimes got to do with these is just like rock it a little bit back and forth, because if the whole thing bites at once, it just like jams it up. And I'm not going too much with the pressure as well, because I don't want to damage it. So we're just little gentle pressure, a little bit of rocking back and forth. And that's spinning now, that last little bit. So that's through.
As you can see there, look, no blowout on the inside due to the little board on the back.
So we've marked our circle for the fan. It's 23cm diameter. Marking didn't go great initially, you can see. It was a bit off, but we got there in the end. We've got a clean circle. I know I'm going to the outside of that line. So we've drilled a hole, and I'm going to start off now and hopefully not make an absolute mess. I'm just going to go nice and steady. Okay, she's sorted. Now we've obviously got a cover plate that will go on that for the fan as well. Just going to notch out this with a jiggy as well. Just watch yourself there, Carl. I'm just going to push the board so it's tight to quite close to the thing there. Get off! There we go, all sorted. Okay, so we've just got the ceiling board fitted in. Watch out for that step. Holes in for the lights. So I just need to cut a little bit of insulation out so the lights sit in nicely, which should also help it stop spinning. That piece of insulation shouldn't probably won't need to for that one because that one's pressed in a little bit more. And the fan. So you've actually run some aluminium tape around that because there wasn't a piece of like ducting that came with it, so we've just sort of made that up. I'm going to put some duct tape over it and have the duct tape come down and slightly overlap the timber all the way around it, and then when the faceplate goes on you won't see any of it at all. The duct tape that I've got is wide enough to do that. So yeah, that's all in place. Little hole that we forgot about, we drilled for the bathroom light when it does go in, but I haven't got that yet, so just a little light for the cable to come through. And actually I need to remember just to put the Wagos back on it, so I'll give them to you, Carl. You just put one back on each, mate, it'll be perfect, thank you. And then yeah, she's in, another ceiling board in. And I think what we're going to do next is I'm going to bring in some wall boards for this kitchen area, get some of them on, but I think we need a bit of a clean up first, don't you, Carl?
Oh yes, definitely.
We're a bit mucky, so we'll sort that out first. Carl?
Just cutting out the sockets. Hopefully this fits in there. Like a glove, mate. Nice.
Lovely job. Awesome. Right, let's go fit it.
Now listen to what I've just said.
What? noise.
Slightly.
So if you push them, yeah. There you go.
Nice and tight.
Lovely.
In like Flynn.
In like Flynn. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Helen the Horsebox. We'll catch you on the next time.